house, talking about anything and everything, learning something, getting to know, and for entertainment purposes only, from my opinion. Um, it's been hectic last Tuesday. Sorry, I was not able to be online. I had a hectic 2 weeks. We had the wedding in our office, and I offered to do decorations for the reception. And well, I took the task through the ringer, and we did so well. Turned out so nicely. We had fun on Saturday. Um, which goes to show, listening to their love story, that you don't give up on love. And once you take that leap of faith, they were an older couple, they already had grown up children, so they decided to make it official. Here in Africa, there's that tradition. Sometimes you will know about it once, God forbid, uh, one of either you or your partner passes on. It gets hectic after that, because we have heard of cases, the in-laws coming and saying, if you are not married officially in the church, or there's no marriage certificate, then they don't recognize you, or they turn out to be ugly and take everything back, especially if coming from different communities, people do have a struggle with that. And once death happens, they they revert, before death they pretend to be okay, welcoming and all that, but after death, that's when you know true colors. So for them, they've been together for the longest time, and it was so nice to see them having a wonderful wedding and enjoying the moment with the friends. Okay, so today, talk about ugh, past, present, and the future, which we all look forward to the future. Some of us live in the moment, others don't even understand the moment, uh, how the moment is, or enjoy the moment as it is. And others are just slaves to their past, and don't, they're just in that cocoon of what happened, if it's traumatic, if it was something that really hurt them. um, they don't want to let go of it. Uh, but anyway, without the past, we'll not be the people we are today. And without the present, we can never hope for the future. Eh, I might say, how us, I'm speaking for somehow experience for people who are born in the time of the 90s, we experience something totally different to what kids and the young generation from the 2000s, early 2000s experience, and also them experience something different from what we have now. And here's, let me just think about something like crazy. In everything we say, history repeats itself, and bring, not every history will have a revert of it. Um, but how come technology, technology, we haven't reached a part that we say it's repeating itself? Have we not reached the part of advancement that maybe was reached in the past? Or it's just a continuous revolve that we'll never reach? Another one, I gave that question to a friend of mine, and they asked me, by the way, actually it's my cousin, why haven't we reached the type of technology that Egyptians did to build the pyramids, it's mind blowing. And I was like, hmm, that's true. Uh, Even the time of the Wright brothers making of the aeroplanes and also and the machinery that was used back then, uh, and now we're seeing aeroplanes just doing the weirdest. And some people did, hoy, it's just crazy. And yet the materials they used that time was not as readily available as the materials that we have right now. So are we on our journey to get to that point, or we are not even close to it, or will not live for this generation to see the development? I remember when we were young, the movies that were futuristic, we'll see, oh, we'll have flying cars. Okay, now I'm seeing some of them. I'm also seeing cars that can uh, transition from land to water, which is also a good thing. Side note, have you heard of the Noah, the guy who's like Noah in the Bible, who's from, is it, he's from the West Africa side. He's building arcs and saying the world will end this year at the end of December. I don't know if they were specific on the day and the time, like the people who used to say the world will end on 2012, or we are still in metrics that we are not understanding. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so thinking of all that, it can make your mind wander and go to a high drive of thinking, overthinking, rethinking, and no answer coming. So like I said, like the kids we were raised during the 90s, we had excellent nice games we used to play outside. Back 90s, it was a few homes in Kenya that had television sets in their house. uh, Most houses had radio, and going further, a few houses had cassette players. And I know people will be cassette what? And then a few our house fewer houses had vinyl records players, which would have been awesome if we had it. We had just the cassette playing. And as the laws dictates, the children are the ones who are supposed to help with the unwinding of the tapes when they open up and the music doesn't play, or even changing the television sets because they didn't have remotes. um then in the 2000s, that's when I think mobile phones were really taking off, and they were huge, looked like a radio. um and that was welcomed, and it was only for parents who had money. And also it was, and those who got the cheapest ones, it was just for parents, or the children will use the landline. And which was funny because once we were playing outside, we didn't need to be told what time, unless your parent will warn you that before the lights, street lights come on. And mind you, most people didn't live in estates that had street lights, but the timing was, if you see darkness, the slightest darkness, get your butt in the house. um Playing in neighbor's house, or it was a big deal to be found in your neighbor's house, or even eating in your neighbor's house. It was really your mother would ask you, was there no food in your house? Who sent you there? It was like, and yet it's the kids that you converse with, it's the kids that the parents know, and it's the families that you know each other. Sometimes you even wonder, how will you, okay, sense of security, yeah, I get that point. um but also, if there was nothing wrong about it, then why make it a big deal? Well, I'll understand it when I become a parent. I still don't see any big deal. But anyway, because of nowadays people have different allergies, it's cautionary, which is weird because back in the day, allergies, maybe not unless it's high protein, that's eggs, or meat, uh, that was it. But nowadays, you hear gluten, you hear about peanut allergies, and you're like, wait a minute, we never saw that when we were growing up. So it's either there's something changing in our food system or our immune system that's making us very reactive to the things that we're taking in. Um, then I think in the 2000 I was in class, was it four or five? Five? No, four. Hmm? No, 2000. Yeah, I was in class four because 98 I was in class two. Yeah, class four wasn't that big a deal, except the new millennia starting off, which was, hey, we celebrated everywhere. It was a party everywhere. Um, then 2002, that was in class six. I think that's when we had the new presidency, change of from our old president of 24 years. Damn. Uh, the only president I have not witnessed was the first president. So after that, I've witnessed the errors of the different presidency. Um, so it's crazy that in the teenage now, learning to be an adult is during that time of the 2000 era, the early 2000 era, finishing high school, starting high school 2006 and finishing it at 2009. Wait, did I start say? Wait, oh yeah. Um, then my brother schooling different era. We have a 5.5 year gap, which is huge. Once I was finished with high school, he hadn't started even high school. Um, so even the curriculum changed a lot. Like even now, when I hear the new curriculum, I'm like, ooh, when was this? When I was in school. Uh, so as we grew now, changing of new technology, starting to pour in, and then adjusting with the new technology. Um, I remember when we were finishing high school, most of the people who were finishing high school had no, uh, hadn't been in touch with computers. So you had to go for a course of computing, to know how to type fast, to know how to use the Word, Excel, PowerPoint presentation, and also a little bit of coding. And depending with which school you studied, because some schools offered computer science or computer studies. And now, because the phone has become a computer, you're working with the computer in hand. It does the same thing that the laptops does, even more, because it's portable and it's the size is comfortable to walk around with. Um, then you find the kids, us, I'll say specifically the millennials. Not most of us parents accepted us having cell phones beforehand. It was mostly in most households rules that once you finish high school, that's when you'll be given a cell phone. I had that rule, but at least during Form 3, Form 4, I was using the same cell phone with the house help, housemaid, or the nanny, house manager now. Uh, then finished high school. Most of the people, you go for the computer studies and go for driving school, depending with the parents' funds. Then others will start working. I did computer studies, and then I worked. I was a tutor for a whole year. No, actually, a few months before I joined college at the end of 2010. I joined 2010 September. So I didn't have time to do driving, and I've not yet done driving. Here's the thing, I can actually defend it because traveling is easier for me using public means. I don't pay for parking in the city. I don't pay for fuel except now during bus fare, and it's constant. Uh, but that doesn't stop me from dreaming getting my own car, which will happen. So other than that, I say, like, as we grew, like changing of technologies, and then there are those who from the 2000 years babies to maybe 2010, 2015, they grew up knowing technology. And then there's this other from 2015, they, you can see even right now, kids born last year or this year, they can operate a phone just by looking at it and open it. If it has a password, they know how to operate it and open it. And we're like, whoa, it's awesome and sometimes scary at the same time. And then now we have the era of AI, which has scared a lot of people because of how the future looks. Is it looking bright or is it looking bleak? Um, about people's jobs and other things, among other things. Then I'm like, okay, uh, I live in the moment. Yes, it's good to learn of the changes of the technology, but are we changing the technology to make our life easier or to make it bearable or even to make it weirdly happening? Time will tell. That's why I called this topic today time. And time will tell. True to that. So still questioning, haven't we not reached our history repeating itself part of our technology advancement? Because fashion has done its repeat. I've seen 90s fashion becoming trendy. I've seen 60s fashion becoming trendy, 80s, and you're like, oh, that has repeated. Then also conflicts have repeated somehow. And now, how about technology to repeat itself? Will it start again or rewrite history, or we haven't even touched the farthest it has gone? It's good to be back. And that's all. Food for thought. Bye 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 bye.